Hi Liken, hope you're doing well. Today we are going to present our final project presentation of data visualization course, and our topic of interest is CO2 emissions around the world. And this is our team, Srila Paspileti and myself, Srikanth Saurabhikamati. And as I said before, our topic of interest is CO2 emissions around the world. As we already know that carbon dioxide emissions are primary driver of global climate change, and this responsibility is shared between regions, countries, and individuals. And this has been an endless point of connection in international discussions. And mainly the debate arises from various ways in which emissions are compared. One is CO2 emissions by fuel type. The other is production versus consumption-based CO2 emissions. And the other one is annual CO2 emissions. And the metrics in our dashboard and stories can tell us different stories.
Hello, Professor. I'm Shrihita, and this is the link of the data source that we have used for our project. And this is the softwares we have used. We have used Excel for the data cleaning and everything. And we have used a table to show the visualizations. And this is a glance at the data set that we have used. We have taken different tables and joined them in the table. And this is our data cleaning part. And for data cleaning, we have deleted the year columns with empty cells, and we have also deleted data source and the last updated date columns. And in the connections in table, here you can see that we have taken the different tables and joined them using joined them in the table. And we have, for joining, we have used the year column because the year is unique in all the tables. So we have taken year to combine, and we have kept it in a single table, joined it to a single table.
And when coming to our Tableau worksheets, a worksheet contains a single view along with the shelves, cards, legends, and analytic span panes in sidebar. With these worksheets, we can explore historical CO2 gas emissions data for different countries. And the different types of charts we have used in this worksheet is side-by-side bar chart. Second one is a 3 map. Third one is the dual line chart. And the last one is the map chart.
And this is our side-by-side bar chart, which here the side bar chart is showing the CO2 emissions by fuel type. Here you can observe that the different CO2 emission rates for the coal, oil, and the gas. And from the chart, and we have used the filter for the year. And also, like, we have used different colors to show to make the visualization clear. And you can observe from the graph that the coal has the highest emission of the CO2 when compared to the oil and the gas, and the oil and the gas has similarly equal rate of emission of the CO2. And this is our remap, which shows who has contributed most to global CO2 emissions. From here, you can observe that the country Europe has the highest CO2 emission rate, following United Kingdom and North America and EU 28. And there are some countries which are having the only less emission of the CO2. And
coming to our third worksheet, this shows us the production versus consumption-based CO2 emissions over the world. This is our worksheet. And this worksheet mainly depicts about the production-based emissions and about the consumption-based emissions. So we could see that production-based emissions have stagnant, whereas consumption-based CO2 is been steadily increasing over the years. So on the other side, we can see that there are several rich countries where production and consumption-based emissions have declined, and whereas in most of the countries, emission increased when countries become richer, but this is also not necessarily. When coming to our fourth worksheets, this is the annual CO2 emissions for the year 2018. So in this chart, we could see the growth of global emissions from the mid 18th century through to today. So growth in emissions was still relatively slow until the mid 20th century. Emissions growth has steadily slowed over the last few years, but they have yet to reach their peak. We could see that China is having the highest emissions, whereas NEO is having the lowest annual CO2 emissions. And we can also see the emissions for other countries similarly. And this is measured in tons.
This is our dashboard, which is a collection of views from multiple worksheets and also the analyzing of the historical data of CO2 emissions to overall emission performance. This also reflects the impact of critical factors on climate change. Here in our dashboard, we have used a map, a line chart, and the side-by-side bar chart and the tree map. And each one is showing how the CO2 emission rates by different sources, by different countries, and comparing them and showing them in the map there and making the visualizations very clear. We have added the most flexible things, flexible charts to understand.
And our next topic is storyboards of CO2 emissions. As we know that story generally contains a sequence of worksheets or dashboards that work together to convey information. Each story point can be based on different view or dashboard, or the entire story can be based on the same visualization seen at different stages with different filters and annotations.
Here you can see the story map of CO2 emissions around the world. And this is our story map for the CO2 emissions by different sources. And here you can see the comparison for the coal, oil, and the gas, how the CO2 is emitted and the filtered by year. And this is the story tells that the annual carbon dioxide emissions from different fuel types measured in tons per year. And this is the story map for CO2 emissions, how the CO2 is emitted by different countries. And in the map, we have used different colors to make the visualization easy to understand. And from here, you can observe that the cumulative carbon dioxide emission over the period from, and this shows the emission of the carbon dioxide from period 1751 to 2017. And figures are based on production-based emissions, which measures CO2 produced domestically from different fuel types.
And our third storyboard is based on the production versus consumption-based CO2 emissions. So this chart depicts that annual consumption-based emissions are domestic emissions adjusted for trade, and country export goods, the CO2 emissions are needed to produce such goods are added to its domestic emissions. And if it is export goods, then this is subtracted. And the last storyboard is about the annual CO2 emissions for the year 2018. Each country's share of global 2 carbon dioxide emissions are provided in the storyboard. This is a measure of each country's emissions divided by the sum of all countries' emissions in a given area, plus international aviation and shipping. Thank you, Professor. Please let us know if you have any queries.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much.